Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in again this week. This is Lucas coming at you with another video here on this Atari 2600 Junior console. As you can see, it's in a bit rough condition, but it does power on and work. The one thing about these Ataris is nobody wants to use the RF connections for them anymore. Super annoying to connect that to just about any TV, even if you do have the old CRT. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be putting on a nice new AV board that I actually got off eBay. I think it cost me around $10. So not a bad cost price there. Comes with everything you're going to need. So that's all we're going to be doing is taking this apart and installing this board. First thing we have to do though is install the board. You can buy them pre-assembled, but it's honestly just a little bit of soldering, so might as well, get the small board and enjoy putting it together. So as you can see, this is just the board that you get when you purchase that. It's just going to have all your inputs over on one side, outputs on the other side, and then there's just a few components that you need to solder to the board. So to start out, we're going to work on this Motorola chip for it. It looks like it is the 2N3904. You're going to see the 2N3904 right on the board. And it's pretty obvious where it goes because it slides right in. Then all you have to do is just press it right on down. And then you're going to solder these legs on. So you just go to the back side. I like to put the chip down as far as you can and then just bend the legs over a little bit. And that will keep it from falling back out. Then all you have to do is take your soldering iron, get a wee little bit of solder. You're just going to dab it right on there. So get everything hot and put a little solder glob right on it. Just enough to hold it all too. There's one done. These do not have to be perfect. So if you're new to soldering, don't worry about it. I'll turn my soldering iron down a little bit just because it is real hot and this is an adjustable one. And we're just going to do that last one. Just a little bit of solder in there. I'm going to adhere right in. As you can see, each one of those legs is now nice and soldered to the board. So from there, you're going to want to cut these little clips off. You can use really anything you want. I got these nice little nail clippers right here, so they'll work just fine. So clip it off. You want to try and get it down as much as you can with these. That's kind of why the nail clipper option works well, because you can go to a dollar store and buy them. It's not a specialty tool or anything like that. And then, I left them a little long. I might cut those down. I will actually cut those down. Why not? Let's make it a surface board. There we go. Nice and flush. From there, we're going to look at the board again. We see there is this 2.2K and this 3.3K. Obviously, nice and labeled for you. So let's start out with the 2.2. Does not matter which way you put this on. So 2.2 is up top. One side's going to go through where? Then you're going to take the other leg, bend it all up, and just put it through the other way. Make sure everything's nice and even, and just pull it through, just like that. Then, once again, we're just going to bend these over to the side a little bit so it can maintain a nice structure there. Then we'll solder them. One, and 2. Once again, you do not have to be some mystical soldering wizard. It really does not take a lot to get these on. Okay, so now I just cut them down again. Got it nice and flush, so we're good to go there. All that's left is that 3.3. Just find it on the board. You're going to see the 2 through holes. Run that through. Bend it over to the side again. Then we're going to solder. From there, though, we have the basics of our board done. Okay, so we got the board all assembled. I've just kind of sat down and laid out my wires right here, how I'm going to want them to be. Black will be ground, yellow will be video in. We're going to use the blue for the audio in, and then we're going to use the red as the 5 volt. So, all you have to do for these is you want to strip the wires just a little bit. Sorry about all the shadows, it's kind of hard to get this on camera, but I got these right here, which are just little strippers. So you can just stick it on there, and it just pulls the sheathing right across it. Right like that. It's just a quicker way of doing it. I got these off eBay for like $5 I think a while back. If anyone's interested, I do not have a link, but you can take a look on your own and I'm sure you'll find them. Otherwise, you can use wire strippers like this. That will work just as well, just a little more time consuming. So, what we're going to do, I like to just take it, put it through, and then kind of bend it like a U shape towards the outside. That way, you can get a little solder on both ends if you need it, and it's not going to interfere with any of the other components. So once we get that bend, we're just going to heat it up a little bit with the iron, and then you just work your solder in there. And it will adhere through the heat of the iron. Then when you remove the iron, it's going to cool off, and you're good to go. So this one, fully attached. If you wanted to, you could put a little bit of solder on the back end, make it a little more secure. I don't think I'm going to for this particular one, but that is an option if you are so inclined. So I'm just going to take these again. Just bent this back up. I'm just going to take the nail clippers, get it flush, clip it right off. We're good to go. There's our ground in. Next, we're going to hit up that video one. Once again, we're just going to slide it right in. You don't want to leave too much unshielded aspect of it. You pretty much want that shielding to go all the way to the hole. So I'm just going to bend it right there. And then, same process over again. Does not get much easier. Heat it up. Add a little bit of solder. Remove your iron. Let it cool. And it's attached. Then we're just going to go to the other side, clip it off. And we're going to do this for the next two, as well as this entire other side. So these are just the outs that we're going to be doing over here. It's going to be the exact same thing, just match up your colors. You're just going to send your audio out, your video out, and your ground. And those are going to go over to your RCA jacks. So I'm going to get this put together, and I'll catch back up with you after that. Okay, so now we do have this little board fully assembled with all of its wires. So what we're going to work on next is the actual Atari 2600. Step one is the teardown. You're going to have 5 screws right on the back. You're going to start out by taking those apart. Well, taking those out. So once you get those 5 out, you're going to look at this front grill. There's going to be 3 little push clips in here. There will be one on the edge right here, one in the very center, and then one over here on the edge. On my Atari, somebody, it looks like, has already tried to get in here and they broke the center one. So I'm not going to need to worry about that. So I'm just going to get working on these side ones. It's going to be kind of hard to show this on video, but you just kind of get in there with a tool and just press them away so it unclips. Okay, I think I got that one. Yep, that one's done. Looks like this one just came out on its own. And as I said, that middle one was already broken, so did not need to focus on that. Once you get it open though, there's going to be this little ribbon connector right here. So all you have to do for that one is we'll lift it like this. Then this ribbon connector is just going to pull right out. But yeah, that's it torn apart. So I'll catch back up with you in a sec and we'll get working on tearing this inside apart further so we can get that board attached onto here. Okay, we got that all taken apart. So now the next step we're going to do is we're going to take this board out of the bottom housing. How you're going to do that is there's two little clips on each side right here. You can just kind of peel one back and then just lift up on the board. And then it's just going to slide right out like that. Remove that housing, flip the board, and then you're going to see this RF shield. So for the RF shield, it's going to be held on by little clips all around it. You can kind of see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So there's 10 it looks like all together. These are usually just bent over little clips that all you have to do is bend them straight again and this will pull off. So if we take a look at these top ones, I'm not sure if my tweezers will have the go ahead to do it, but we'll start out with the least invasive. Looks like they're struggling just a little, so you can also grab some needle nosers if you want, and that makes it a lot easier. And I'm just kind of hooking it with the needle nose and bending them up. Sometimes these will be twisted in place, sometimes not. And a lot of these guides tell you get rid of the RF shielding, you know, once you take it all apart and you do the mod. I'm going to try and save it. It was there originally for a reason, so let's keep it as intact as we can. We might have to cut it up a little bit, but I think we can make it savable. Once we get all those bent up, it should just lift off right like that. Then, like I said, a lot of guides tell you get rid of it. I'm just going to keep it. Looks like somebody at some point has had some fun with some of these solder joints. So it will be interesting to see if this board actually works or not. There'll be 4 right under here. Kind of grab them with your needle nose and twist. Make it so they're straight up again. Then, there's actually 5. This one on the side got me completely. Didn't even notice it. Now it seems like it's wanting to come off. There we go. And there we go. Chuck that over to the side for now. Looks like everything's definitely not living its best life in here, but it's all there, so. Looks like my guess is somebody replaced a capacitor or 2 in here, so hopefully that means it's going to work. Right now, though, we're going to focus on removing a few key components. So I'm going to get my soldering iron hot again. And then, let me get my little notepad here. We're going to remove Q4, which is right here. This is Q4. And then we're also going to remove, looks like R56, which should be this one right here. And then we're going to move C33, which is right over here. And we're also going to remove R17, which will be this one right here. And once we remove all those, we're going to want to clean the solder out of A3. And A3 is right down here by that chip. Okay, as you can see, I did remove those components from the board right there and right there. Then I removed the components from the board up here. And then the way you're going to do it is, let me just grab a pointer. So the way you're going to arrange these wires is I put my 5-volt in right here, got your video cable right here, and then you got audio over here, and then I ran right up here is where I put my ground. So those are all your inputs. So from there, you're going to work on your outputs. So I brought them over to here. So I just drilled right beneath where the ribbon cable goes. I drilled 3 holes and then just put those little pieces right in there for the component cables. So the way these work is, just give me 1 sec and I'll grab another one. Okay, so I went to my component stash and I grabbed another one of these little component pieces. So the way you connect these is you're going to run your ground to this piece up here, right on here, and then right here is where you're going to run either your video cable or your sound cable or anything like that, and you're just going to solder to it. So as you can see on mine, I daisy chained the grounds all together. So here's our ground coming out, and then you have to run the blue to both of your sound cables, since this is mono, so you're not going to get stereo sound, but at least this way it will come out of both speakers. And then you just have to hook up your yellow onto the back end of the video one. And that's all you have to do to connect these together, and then you're good to go. So I put my board right back up here, got everything settled down. Then my RF has this piece cut out of it, so it should just be able to just set back on there and route right through that hole. I'm going to get my RFs back on there though, and I'll catch back up with you in a minute. Okay, so I did get that all back together. As you can see, I got partial RF shielding back on. There was this piece as well. I'm just going to dump it. Most things say, you know, that you don't have to put any of the RF shielding back on, so I figure using this little passage as a little area for the wires to come through will be perfectly fine. Then I got my board just stuck up here because there was nothing in this section of the board. Other than that though, all that's left to do is reassemble it, and then we'll test it. Okay, so as you can see, we now have the Atari all nice and put back together. I did connect it up to some power and to my CRT TV, so the AV mod is all installed. So now it's time to test it. For testing purposes, we will be using Frogger, one of the best games made for the Atari in my humble opinion. But it's just something I grew up playing, so let's put it in there and let's see how it goes. Looks like it is working. As you can see, working perfectly, right on startup, no issues. See if we can actually play anything. Got a controller just kind of set up over here. See if I can do this one-handed. As you can see, everything is working absolutely perfectly on this. All the sound's coming out great. The video looks good. I have no complaints. So yeah, if you're looking to do this to your Atari, it's definitely a recommendation. Way easier to connect it up when you can actually use the AV ports, and the picture quality just looks night and day better in my opinion. But yeah, thanks for watching this video, and stay in tune through all of it, and hope you have a great day, everybody.